Before you throw away a surf fishing rod because one guide is cracked, rusty, loose, or broken, watch this first. A damaged guide may look like a serious problem, especially on a long surf rod, but in many cases it can be replaced at home with simple tools, careful wrapping, and patience. Surf rods take a lot of stress during long casts, heavy sinkers, strong waves, and saltwater fishing, so every guide must be smooth, strong, and properly aligned. A surf fishing rod guide has an important job. It controls the path of the fishing line from the reel to the rod tip. When you cast from the beach, the line moves very fast through each guide. If one guide is rough, cracked, bent, or corroded, it can create friction and damage your fishing line. This is especially risky when casting heavy rigs or fighting fish in the surf. A small crack inside the guide ring can weaken the line, and the line may break when you need it most. Guide damage on surf rods often happens because of salt water, sand, impact, and poor storage. Salt can get under the epoxy and around the guide foot. Over time, the metal frame may rust or weaken. Sand can scratch the guide ring. The rod may also be dropped on rocks, stepped on, or stored with heavy gear pressing against the guides. Sometimes the ceramic insert falls out, or the thread wrap becomes loose and the guide starts moving. Do not keep fishing with a damaged surf rod guide. If the guide is rough, it can scratch your line on every cast and retrieve. If the guide is loose, it can change the line angle and reduce casting distance. If the guide foot is corroded under the wrap, it may break under pressure. Replacing the guide early is much safer than waiting until you lose a rig, a fish, or more of your rod. For this repair, prepare a replacement guide in the correct size, wrapping thread, rod finish epoxy, a sharp blade, masking tape, fine sandpaper, a clean cloth, rubbing alcohol if available, and a small brush or stick for applying epoxy. Because this is a surf rod, try to choose a strong corrosion-resistant guide that matches the original guide as closely as possible. Check the ring size, frame height, and guide foot shape. If the new guide is too tall or too short, the line may not flow correctly during casting. First, inspect the damaged guide carefully. Check the ring, metal frame, guide foot, thread wrap, and epoxy finish. If the ring is cracked, the frame is bent badly, or the foot is rusty and weak, replace the whole guide. If only the epoxy has cracked but the guide is still strong, you may be able to rewrap it. In this tutorial, we will replace the damaged guide completely. Start by removing the old thread wrap. Use a sharp blade carefully and cut on top of the metal guide foot, not directly into the rod blank. This is very important. If you cut into the blank, you can weaken the rod. Work slowly and lift the old thread away piece by piece. If the epoxy finish is very hard, warm it gently for a few seconds, but do not overheat the rod. After the old wrap is removed, take off the damaged guide, clean the area well. Remove old epoxy, salt, sand, dust, and loose thread. If the blank surface feels rough, sand it very lightly with fine sandpaper. Do not sand too deep. You only want a clean surface so the new guide can sit flat and the thread can wrap smoothly. Now place the new guide on the rod. Use masking tape to hold it in position. Look down the rod from the handle toward the tip and align it with the other guides. All guides should form one straight line. This step is very important for surf casting. A crooked guide can reduce casting distance, create line friction, and make the rod feel unbalanced. Next, wrap the guide foot with thread. Start a little before the guide foot and wrap toward it. Keep the thread tight, smooth, and close together. Do not leave gaps. Continue wrapping until the guide foot is fully covered. If the guide has 2 feet, repeat the same process on the other side. Finish the wrap with a pull-through loop and trim the extra thread carefully. Before applying epoxy, check the alignment again. Then mix the rod finish epoxy slowly according to the instructions. Apply a thin, even coat over the thread wrap. Let the epoxy soak into the thread and seal both edges. Rotate the rod while the epoxy cures, or turn it by hand every few minutes at the beginning to prevent sagging. Do not rush the curing time. Common beginner mistakes include using the wrong guide size, cutting into the blank, leaving salt under the wrap, wrapping too loosely, applying too much epoxy, and fishing before the finish is fully dry. After the epoxy is cured, run the line through all the guides and check the line path. The line should move smoothly with no sharp edges or rough spots. With the correct replacement guide, clean wrapping, proper epoxy, and careful alignment, your surf fishing rod can be strong, smooth, and ready for your next beach fishing trip again.